Hello, Mr. JC.
Hello.
Good evening. How are you
Hello,
doing? How is your week going so far?
It's been alright actually. I've gained a couple of 99s on my Iron Man just this week, so I'm doing okay.
Very nice. Which ones?
So I just got divination like half an hour ago.
Well,
Um,
grats.
yeah, and I don't remember what the other one was. I got thieving. That was last week
Okay.
actually, but
And is that basically Prif Elves or Safe Cracking? What were you?
it
What'd you
was
go
it was
for?
safe cracking so that I could thieve from the hand members a bit easier, so I can get my easy clues.
Yes. Something that I am all too familiar with.
Quite, yeah.
Although since doing the capers, it makes it so much easier not having to drop stuff. It's so much less click intensive.
Yeah, and I mean I've got the relic, so it's literally just one click, the sticky fingers one.
Yeah. Away you go. Oh, you've got loads of accounts over the years, but when and where did the first one come from? How did you start this wonderful game?
Um, so I started, I reckon it must have been 2006 or 7. Whenever RuneScape went onto Miniclip,
Okay,
that's kind of where I found it. Although me and a mate of mine who has just got back into the game, I'm happy to say, we're kind of arguing over who found it first, and not in the conventional way. Both of us think the other person found it first. Like
and
it's really
introduced it
weird.
to them.
Yeah. It's your fault that we still do this.
So they got back into it because of Steam. Is it the Steam release that kind of?
No, they kind of more got back into it because of archaeology,
Okay,
and the lockdown happening. So
it is the perfect game for spending time and
yeah,
setting yourself little goals and
yeah.
things like that. So, what's the fondest memory over the years? There's something that you look back on in years gone by.
I really don't know. I mean, maxing's kind of the obvious one. Because obviously I've done that a couple of times. But I mean, I think the hardcore Iron Man that I'm currently playing, racing archaeology, was honestly so much fun, and I say I can't wait for the next guild. It's going to be like 3 or 4
It's
years.
gonna be a
But
while, yeah.
but I want to be in a position where I can race properly, because I raced up to 99 and I was 30th or so among hardcores, and then I was kind of in a position where I was just like, I don't have Priff unlocked, so I can't get the best Mattocks. I didn't have enough time to prep with
Porters and
porters,
stuff,
so I
yeah.
really wasn't, in a position to race to 120. But yeah,
It's nice
yeah,
to go the whole way.
yeah. So I think the race to 99 was probably the most fun I've had grinding the game. Yeah, and starting Expansionist has been loads of fun. It's just been something different.
So you mentioned it, Expansionist. What's the premise for anyone that hasn't seen it?
So Expansionist is kind of based off of an old school series by a guy called Framed. He did a series called Gridlocked, where basically you're stuck in a certain area of the map, and to leave that area you have to complete like a certain goal, and it's all laid out in the first episode of what all the goals are for each sector. The first sector, I'm in the wilderness, and to leave the wilderness I'm gonna have to get myself an item from Revs, so that's gonna be a nice fun one.
Is that so not corrupted or
Yeah, so it can't be corrupted. It can't be a dragon item because I know they drop those as well. And it can't be any of the ammo slot stuff. So the throwing axes. That's not ammo
javelins?
slot, but
Yeah,
none of the stackable
none of
stuff.
those things. Okay.
None of the stackable things.
And what no. Obviously you're a couple of episodes in now, is it? Is it 3 episodes?
Yeah, I released no, it was only the third one I released today, this afternoon. But I've kind of got the way I'm going to get out of Sector 1 kind of sorted, so it's just training it.
But have you been able to touch Orphan much, or have you kind of been busy on other accounts and not really gone back to archaeology?
So my Iron Man is now 112 arc, so I've been able to do most of Orphan. I've done the first, second, and third areas. And I've got the fishing relic, which is absolutely busted. Um, no, like seriously, I've got nearly 500 sailfish cooked, which I don't have the cooking level for that. So I'm
Yeah,
just like, is that okay? Yes,
yeah.
apparently it
You'd have
is.
hoped there'd have been
I'm
like
sure.
some check that it's maybe you've got the cooking level, and then it's fine. Because now it
Yeah,
basically literally makes cooking a dead skill.
yeah. I mean, it's already fairly dead anyway, but even more so.
But like dead on Iron Man as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
What is your favourite skill? The archaeology, the recency bias, or is there something
No,
else?
it's absolutely not. It,
No.
it is it is recency bias. What my favorite skill is, but it's actually Hunter, and I hated it up until Big Game Hunter came out. If you had asked me beforehand, it was probably my least favorite skill. But now across my main and the Iron Man, I have over 4,500 Big Game Hunter dinos
That
killed.
is a lot. That is so
I've
many.
got 2 completed Mattox on the Iron Man. Um, So yeah, I've done a lot of that.
Yeah, because I mean, the problem is getting up to be able to do big game hunter.
Yeah,
Hunting.
absolutely. Early game hunter is just garbage. Let's be honest now. And they kind of had it okay when they did when they changed the Skull Tromper weightings in that you could catch duplicates and you would get the duplicate XP. So it was probably too fast, and yes, they nerfed it, but I think they nerfed it just too hard, and getting up to 75 for it, so many people are turned off. Um,
Yeah. I don't even really remember how I did most of my early game hunter. It might have just been through quests, a lot of XP possibly. I don't even know how many hunter quests there are.
I've honestly no
Yeah,
idea.
not sure what happened there. Have you touched
Yeah.
the? Have you played with the Halloween event? Obviously, that launched on Monday.
Only a little bit. I'm not really a huge fan of cosmetics, and considering I'm playing on the Iron Man, we don't really get anything, aside from the
Yeah.
cosmetics on there.
So
Um,
you don't get any XP from like the souls and stuff.
well, you do get XP, but it's really a nominal amount. It's
Yeah.
barely anything, and like you may as well just train it normally. You just
hmm
get more. It's faster XP.
No grinding out potatoes for event boxes or anything like that. I saw someone in my clan was going for like 100,000 potatoes or something. I was like,
Yeah,
"What are
yeah,
you doing,
yeah.
you
I've seen
madman?"
that kind of thing around Reddit. But yeah, no, I mean that probably would be the only thing that's worth doing. Doing the farming and I think the herbal one. Is there a herbal one?
I'm not
Um,
sure. To be honest, I've barely touched it as well.
yeah. Anyway, the farming one might be worth doing. Like between player and farm runs. But I mean, even that one, if you're on the Iron Man and you like the event boxes just give oddments, which is really weird because again, we can barely get anything from the oddment store.
Do you mean there's a very frequently updated cosmetic store? You know.
When was the last time it was updated?
I have no idea.
I don't
No
even know what's on
idea.
it anymore, honestly.
Uh, it's such a shame.
Yeah, I've no idea what's on it. I'm actually going to open the store.
Have
What's
a
in there?
look.
What's in there? Oh, stuff from Yak Track, which is dope. I
Okay.
might get some of these actually. I might get some of these. Oh, I can get Felix. Sick.
It's done a lot
Uh,
more frequently than the rare token store.
oh
Let's just
yeah,
say that.
yeah. My main must have nearly 100,000 rare tokens, and I'm just like, I literally can't do anything with these. Like,
Even just the option to convert them to oddments or something like that.
yeah, because I mean, so there's the limited ones, and I'm just like, okay, they're sold out, but why are they still here then? But
Yeah, surely when it sells out, it gets replaced with something new, like
yeah,
automatically, just as some way
yeah.
to keep it relevant.
Mm.
What is the least favorite skill? We had your favorite. What is the
Um,
worst?
okay, so again, previously it was Hunter, which is now my favorite. I'm actually looking through the skills at things I really didn't like doing. Um, maybe on recency bias fletching, but that's just because I've trained from 80 to 93 in one go on the Ironman recently. Actually, no, woodcutting. Absolutely woodcutting.
It's
Oh
just
my
so
goodness.
boring.
Oh my goodness, woodcutting. No, so that was actually meant to be my first 99.
Yeah.
When I planned out my main, I was just like, I was gonna get 99 woodcutting first. It was all gonna be done at the what's it even called? Where the clues are.
Where the clues are? What, the
The
Grand
teleport.
Exchange?
No,
Wait,
I know where I mean. Where you exchange for planks. There.
the
Sawmill.
lumberyard. The lumberyard.
Sawmill,
Yeah.
lumberyard. Yeah, there. I was gonna train it all there. Because I thought that was amazing XP because I was really stupid. And I never saw it on any guides, and I was just like, oh, I'm the only person who realizes how good this is. And I was just like, no, there's a reason it's not on any guides. It's because it's stupid. Like,
You know, when you're younger and you're not really like paying too much attention, it's great to
yeah,
like.
so that was meant to be my first 99. I think it ended up being my fourth last 99 for the first time I maxed.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I don't know what they could do to fix it, to be honest, because you've obviously got lots of different tiers of trees the whole way up, but it's just the base premise of the actual skill is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they tried to fix fire making, and I mean, to an extent, it's not as bad anymore because we've got incense sticks. And I think prior to incense sticks, that would have been my least favorite skill.
And you've got the little spirits that come up as like something to.
Yeah, I suppose you can get a couple of charms from there and a couple of runes, I suppose.
But it's still not.
It's still not really.
At least it's quite quick though. Woodcutting, however, is not.
Yeah, woodcutting is slow and pointless. So
That's a shame.
yeah,
Especially because the amount of logs you can get as drops. That's the thing.
yeah. I remember. So the only times I've ever really been interested in woodcutting is when I was on my Iron Man trying to get for criminal bolts for the first time because I needed 85 for that, and when they first brought out Walls Retreat because everything's all
You
the
needed
log
1k of everything.
absolutely through the roof, and like O'Clogs was like 3.5 mil an hour GP. Sure, I'll do that.
What was the first 99? You said it should have been woodcutting. What did it end up being?
So the first 99 was divination. No, it wasn't divination. It was runecrafting.
Okay.
So it was runecrafting because I left the game for a fair while after EOC came out, as is fairly common.
Customary, yeah.
Customary. It wasn't even because like I didn't like the combat system. It was honestly just too complicated, and Revolution wasn't a thing. But
yeah, everyone seems to say it just came out kind of not finished.
Yeah, it came out half done. I think it's a great combat system, and I really love it now. But yeah, no, you can absolutely understand why people don't like it and why they turned off from RuneScape 3 because they saw that and they may well still think that that's what the combat system's like. But anyway, so I left the game during EOC when that came out. And then I came back, I think, the week Bonfires came out for firemaking.
Yeah.
And the following week was the release of Runespan.
Nice.
And I stayed at Runespan from about level 50 to level 99, and I didn't leave.
Wow. What a life your World Guardian had for that month or so.
Yeah, so... I mean... It's been quite hard for me making videos to an extent because the way I play the game is very grind heavy. Like, I'll just kind of sit there and for a month do Runespan, or and I'll be perfectly happy doing that, which obviously isn't great for content. But yeah.
But it's what you enjoy about the game. You enjoy that sort of large goal and slowly making the steps towards it.
I like having the goal and thinking, right, I'm going to get this goal Like no matter what it takes, it's just going to happen.
What is
If only I'd done that with woodcutting 99 in the first one.
What is the end goal for the expansionist then, apart from unlocking the whole map? What happens when you unlock the whole map? What's the step then?
Yeah, so once I've got the map in full, there are a couple of goals, which are 3 goals that I've not done ever. So I've not done it on my main. I've not done it on my hardcore. So the first one is all the explorer achievements, whatever they're called, the area ones.
The different diaries.
Yeah, so all the diaries, and there's a couple that aren't really diaries because they don't give armor pieces, but those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So that's one. One is Quest Point Cape, which again never had before, and absolutely should have by now. And the last one is, it's like to most people it's not really a goal, but to me it absolutely is, and it's just 100% Talos kill because I've never done it because I'm all for the boss.
So is that just because you've not been sort of that attracted to it, or it's just?
I enjoy bossing with people, honestly, and Talos is, a solo boss, and I'm not a massive fan of it. So I love Elite Dungeons. I've done a bit of KK, and I enjoyed that. But yeah, Talos has never really been a thing that's massively appealed to me. Like, as good as the drops are, and as good as the money is,
it's so much time investment to learn it as well, and you've only got yourself to, I guess, blame for if you die, and then you've got to look sort of back at it and try and motivate yourself to go again after dying.
I'm very good at motivating myself to skill, but I'm also motivating myself to boss.
But you must have. So if you got like 0% Talos kills, you must have a couple.
Yeah, I think my highest in Rage is only like 50 something on my main.
Fine. It's kind of scary the first time you go. You're like, at the end of the fight, and then you realize, hang on, no, it is changing. Yeah. Were you playing like around sort of Talos launch and stuff?
I think when Talos came out, yes. Not when God Wars Dungeon 2 came back in that gap.
Do you remember if they were, when they previewed it, did they mention like there was an extra phase at a certain %, or was that secret until launch?
I never was at the time. I had only just got back into the game, and
so you weren't really watching that stuff. No,
update things were so.
Yeah, because I hope that they didn't announce it and it was a surprise to the first person that got to 100%. I was like, oh no, what have we done?
Oh no, so I'll tell you this anyway, even though it might be coming out in a video that I'm doing. When they did King Black Dragon release, it just says it's somewhere in the worldy.
Wow.
They didn't actually say where.
I'd go find him. He's hiding. Look for something new.
Yeah. Somewhere in the worldy. It's like, wait, what?
That's good though. I do like that.
At least in the news post, I'm not sure, like, because I definitely wasn't around back then.
No.
They may have said something more, but in the news post, it's just like he's in the worldy. It's like, okay.
Oh, could you imagine if they did that now though? It would be so hype. You'd have everyone just running around an area trying to find it.
Yeah, the thing is, you would get people who are just like, oh, this is hype, and then you would get people who are just like, they've not told us anything. And I'm just like,
it is hard. It's hard to please everyone. Yeah,
you can't please everyone.
And we've seen that kind of over the past year, how there's been like quite a variety of updates. To be honest, really, there has been like a lot of small little things here and there, and a thing for everybody.
Yeah. With the pandemic, they were never gonna get some of the stuff done that they wanted doing. And we also do have to remember that it is Jagex, and they tend to be behind. Like, that's just a given at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they've actually done a really good job considering what's happening. They managed to get archaeology out at all. Yes, it was late, but
we got PVM Hub to fill the gap. So
yeah, PVM Hub. What else have we had this year? We've had
there is so much just quality of life stuff, isn't it? Really,
your life stuff, I mean, the guys at the Ninja team have absolutely been smashing it.
12 like strikes they've done so far, something like that. Because there's like
Yeah. So the most recent
clues, Grand
one was the
Exchange.
clues one. I think that was 12 or 13. So there's been so many.
Because there was Grand Exchange. Then they actually built the ranch on Ranch Out of Time, didn't they? That.
Oh wait, was that this year?
Yeah.
Oh, it was. Well, yeah, it was.
Yeah, so it's like lots of small
Farming
things.
Circle 120 at all was basic. I mean, it was late. That was late 2019, but that was post Roomfest 2019.
Yeah, although no, because I'm sure they added the actual house this year. I'm sure that was one of the early Ninja Strikes. The house wasn't there on launch.
Oh, possibly.
Which is like she was just sat on the beach on her own.
Yeah.
And then obviously like Essence of Finality,
the
Gods, Orphan as the follow-up to Archaeology, the D&D. Like it's small little bits of content. There's been no Anachronia this year apart from Archaeology.
Yeah, I mean, I think people forget how much more complex this game has got since they were able to do a massive update, every other week.
Yeah.
And
if you look at like quests as well, earlier quests, if you look at them, they don't necessarily have as many assets needed. It's a lot of running around some little areas, talking to people. Maybe there's an instance fight.
Yeah,
a lot less than, say, for example, Desperate Measures had.
Yeah, Desperate Measures was really fun. I actually enjoyed that one, and that's saying quite a lot because I'm not a massive fan of questing normally.
Do you have a favourite that stands out though?
Oh,
be it for the reward or the story, or
for quests. I mean, I don't want to say it because I know loads of people actually hate this quest, and I understand why they hate it because it takes forever.
Okay, I think I know where you're going.
I honestly really enjoyed Sliske's endgame. Like,
it's such a good conclusion to the whole arc, really.
And I totally understand why people disagree and why people don't like it. But it is honestly just really, really good storytelling, and the maze is annoying, but it's the final quest in Sliske's arc, which has been all about these kind of puzzles, and there's loads of mazes in his other quest. So of course,
Kindred Spirits.
I mean, obviously that was going to happen. What were you expecting to an extent?
I can't remember who it was. It might have been Shogun I was chatting to when he said, like, originally it was just like the first part of the maze. And he was like, no. Someone was like, to make it memorable, you've got to make it bigger. So that is like the defining thing that people remember about it. You've got to have one sort of...
Yeah, Sliske's maze that's kind of what you remember about Sliske now, really.
And it's nice with the end fight as well, and then you get like overpowered
the fight is great.
As well.
You kind of get your World Guardian powers for real for a bit. Yeah.
And then a least favorite quest, is there one that you really hate?
I mean, I could say the obvious one and say Morning's End Part 2. Because as an Iron Man, getting that list is very unfun.
Yeah.
But actually, let me take a quick look at the quest list and see if I can find anything I hate more.
Because the other option.
Yes, I can.
Oh dear.
I absolutely can. Elemental Workshop 3.
Which one's 3? Is that the top-down, like, rotatey one?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. The fourth one wasn't as bad as the third one.
I feel like I haven't done the fourth one because of the third one.
Understandable. It took me so long to like work up the nerve to do it.
Yeah. Do you use guides at all for quests, or are you strictly guideless?
I tend to use guides if I'm getting stuck, and I mean any quest that's come out since the start of 2019, I've tried to do on day release before a quest guide has come out.
Yep.
So no to them, but prior to that, absolutely, yeah.
Have you got a favourite boss? I know you said you're not hugely into it, but
am I allowed to count the skilling boss that is Big Game Hunter?
Let's say no for now. It's your favourite skill. It can't also be your favourite boss.
No, so probably ED1,
Oh, okay.
which is kind of an out of left field shout.
Hmm.
Because ED2 is easier. Like I can solo it fairly comfortably.
Yeah.
ED3, even in a group, I die too often for it to become my favorite boss.
Yeah,
But
Ambassador is hard. So much
ED1
harder than the rest of them.
for me. So yeah.
Yeah, no, Ambassador, So I did like ED1 one evening, then the next day I did ED2 and started on ED3, and then I tried to finish ED3, died for a couple of hours at Ambassador and was like, I'm alright. Death touch go up, there we go, done.
I remember just before they brought out ED3, the rule on ED2 initially was that you had to have completed ED1 to go into ED2.
Okay.
Obviously, they scrapped that when ED3 came out, and you didn't have to have done 1 or 2. But I remember just before ED3 came out, and I didn't know that they were going to make this change. Me and my brother tried to duo ED1, and we were probably on Seiryu for 3 hours, I reckon.
Yeah, Seiryu for the first time took me a long time.
Yeah,
the fight is long, and I think that's what I was struggling with.
Yeah, I just think, like, because we didn't really know the mechanics brilliantly, like we watched guides because we did.
Yeah.
So we watched guides and we were just like, yeah, this seems okay. And then we found that we weren't rezzing properly, and we ran out of food, really quick. We ended up doing like 4 cycles, 5 cycles, and we just didn't have the deeps. But yeah, eventually we got it, and then we went into ED2 and we cracked it pretty rapid. ED2 was fine, and then we went into ED3 on day of release, and we got to Karasi and Leviathan, and I think we were 2 of many people who ran straight down the middle and
right down the middle.
Absolutely eviscerated by
yeah.
There's a great clip of Modshawny, Wazi, and RS guy.
Yeah, I remember.
them taking that hit. It's brilliant.
So ED1, Seiryu in particular, would you say in ED1 or?
Yeah, definitely Seiryu. I mean, it's definitely not one of the other 2.
I get annoyed with Sanctum Guardian. I'm so bad at placing the smoke. Like I just can't.
No, so I kill that one with melee, so I just played it dive away, and surge
You pop
back.
it in the corners. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm fine with that one. Masuta is just irritating.
Especially if you're doing, well, I imagine you're not doing Masuta melee, surely.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah?
melee. Yeah, more so than Sanctum Guardian, because when he does the spin attack, you can just devotion.
Right. Yeah.
And then it's an absolute ton of wands, and then you're sorted. Because that's the only attack that really hits hard. Because most of his other attacks kind of scale to how far away you are.
Yeah.
So if you're in melee, you're okay for
easier.
the rest of the fight. That, and you can blade dive around to all the water sprouts, so you get the debuff really nicely.
That phase seems like it takes forever. Kind of, it's longer than Blackstone Dragon's flying phase.
Yeah, well, there's how many? There's 13 water sprouts or something.
Yeah. Although at least I didn't realize at first that you can soul split off Blackstone Dragon while it's flying. Like if you hit it, it doesn't do any damage, but you heal. Amazing.
Its flying phase to me is known as pogo phase, because, and as much as people who actually do bossing properly, which I absolutely don't, people who actually do bossing hate me for doing it. I literally equip a pogo stick and jump around for the entire stage. Just like, I don't need a Dren for this next bit. I'm just gonna have fun.
Yeah, there's no rush.
Yeah.
What was...
Yeah, if I go with groups, then I don't tend to do it because I know it annoys people. But if I'm doing it on my own, then might as well.
Is there anything you're hoping Jagex have up their sleeves over the next year? What would you like to see come out that hasn't been announced yet?
I really want to see another skilling boss, and it's not just because of how much I like Big Game Hunter. There's part of that, but it's also that it could be a way of reviving totally dead skills like woodcutting, and it also gives somewhere for there to be a new reward space. If you think about the drops that Big Game Hunter now has,
Yeah, I mean, at
like,
first it didn't have a huge amount, really.
no, like initially it had the Terrasol Mall at the end.
Yeah,
And then it got the eggs, and then it got the Mattock. It's got so many chances at getting good drops.
it got new seeds as well, didn't it? When 120, yeah,
And we're at the point where any like high level skilling item ends up coming through Big Game Hunter. So I think for the future of skilling, we need to see another skilling boss.
diversified a bit so it doesn't become the Telos of skilling.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you like to see it in? I mean, I guess woodcutting. We were talking about how bad it is earlier, and there's one in old school, right?
I would like to see a woodcutting one. I mean, the issue is that Solak exists, and the kind of theme is already taken, sadly.
Just change Solak to give woodcutting XP when he dies. Sorted.
Yeah, just,
Perfect.
yeah, then it would be absolutely fine. No.
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that. But I think anything like Wintertop that old school has, I think is great.
Yeah. So have you played much old school, and is leagues looking like something you're going to be getting into?
I feel I'm a bit late for leagues now.
It came out yesterday.
Yeah, I know. I'm fully aware that it came out only yesterday. But as I did with archaeology, if I'm going to be doing it, I'm going to be racing for it.
Right. Okay.
Trying to do it properly. And I think when Group Iron Man comes out on old school, I'll definitely be going for that. Going for high scores with that. I may have a team sorted for that, but we'll see how that ends up being at the time. But I did play a little bit when it first came out. Has your internet died?
No, I don't think so. I'm still here. Hello?
Your stream has died on my computer. That's all.
It's saying it's up. Let's have a look.
Let's refresh.
Refresh.
Yeah, no, quality.
And we're here. Okay. Who knows?
We're sorry.
No worries. Still good.
I forgot what I was saying. I played a bit when it first came out. We were talking about old school. Yeah,
Old
I played
school,
a bit when it first came out, but I couldn't really get back into it. Because it is slightly before I really started enjoying the game.
Okay. I feel like that's a lot of people's sentiment, though, isn't it? Is it that 2009, that sort of time, seemed to be when a lot of people have their best memories, and it was the best time of the game.
Yeah, but I mean, I totally understand 07 as the time. Like, it was honestly a really, really good time to be playing the game. But I think the main reason I couldn't get into it was partly that I had an account that was nearly maxed on RS3 at the time, and I was just like, I kind of want to max. Don't want to have to restart. I definitely wasn't of the mindset of racing at that point. And I'll be entirely honest. I didn't think that old school would last as long as it has, and I'm not
do as well as it's doing. Yeah,
I'm not complaining that it has. I honestly really think it's very good, and there's a lot that RuneScape 3 can learn from it.
What would you say the biggest thing that it could learn from it is?
I mean, the single biggest thing that it can learn from it is stuff like leagues, stuff like Deadman mode.
Just competitive.
Yeah. So I think RuneScape 3 tried it, didn't they? 2 years ago or so. I've totally forgotten what it's called. Dimensions of the Damned or something? And that
Possibly? I'm not sure. I wasn't playing then, to be honest.
Yeah, so we had this thing called Dimension of the Damned, I think, where we just we had to go around and kill zombies, and it just wasn't very good at all. Because I just think that the RuneScape 3 player base is very hung up on efficiency, and I don't want to badmouth the RS3 player base for fear of losing the but I think that is our biggest issue as a community at the moment, that we're really hung up on efficiency, and that's causing updates to have to be best in slot rather than fun.
Yep.
And then people complain about power creep, and I'm just like, well, you're not going to play it if it's not power creeping, so you
can't have like
they do
both. Yeah. I mean, a game that is 19 years old does have to evolve. Like, there has to be power creep.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be power creep, just in a game that's designed that way, and in a community that wants to level up as fast as possible. I think that's why people don't play mini games. I don't think it's because they're not fun anymore. The reason they're not fun anymore is because people don't play them. And the reason people don't play them is because there's no incentive to play them. They're not power creeping.
It's come up before. It's just revamping the reward shop for mini games. Just having some actual rewards would get people back playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, because there's nothing wrong with the mini games, because they're the same mini games, and people play them when they're on Spotlight.
Yeah.
So there's clearly nothing wrong with the game in and of itself. But yeah,
just needs some kind of attraction back to it.
Yeah, like I still play Cabbage Face Bunch Bonanza quite a lot on my Iron Man because I want the Slayer VIP tokens. But that's just about the only one.
Yeah. And again, it's the reward.
Yeah, the reward's there. It helps the account progress. Yeah, so that's just the way it is, sadly.
Fill up Burthorpe Games Room again. Everyone playing checkers.
Yeah, that would be so much fun. I would love it.
About a year ago on Wazzy's stream, we had the AI play against itself.
Right.
So the way it works, if you don't make a move in 90 seconds, it automatically places it.
Nice.
So we did it for checkers, and we also did it for the Connect 4 thing.
Oh, Rune Link, yeah.
There is no logic behind that AI. It just...
No, I reckon it just picks at random.
It just picks it completely at random. So you get quite the comebacks on Connect 4.
See, if I was coding it, I would purposely make it so that it makes the least intelligent move possible.
The worst move, yeah.
Yeah, it sees, right, what's the best one to go in, and I'll do literally anything else. Like, I'm one move away from winning. Let's pick that one. That's the sort of thing I would do.
How did you make your start on YouTube? And why?
What was my first video? So the first video I ever actually made was on a different channel that actually has the same name, but all the videos are now private. And the name has been changed, so if you search for it, you wouldn't find it. But the very first thing I did was going to be a Road to 120 Slayer on there, like on my main.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a couple of episodes of that, and I was very stat driven in the way I did it. Like, I had kept a full spreadsheet of what drops I got from everything, how long it took, so that when I got to 120, I could
have everything there. Yeah.
This task over, all the way from 99 to 120 is, this much GP per hour and this much XP per hour. And I think I got to level 105 or so, and I was just like, I was getting bored of seeing my own stuff come up. So I kind of stopped for a bit, and then I made the first hardcore Iron Man, which is now on the channel.
Yes. Came to a bit of an end, that one, didn't it?
That was some ending.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that ending.
It's available on your YouTube. if anyone wants to find out how
it
ended.
It is, and again, I can totally understand. There are a couple of comments of people who saying I faked it, and I totally understand why people think that, because there's no way of me proving how it happened.
Yeah.
But
why would you fake it? What's the benefit to it?
I don't know. I think the injustice of it is that they killed me to some random thing in Mauritania, and I'm just like, could you have not at least taken the?
That sounds familiar.
Could you not have taken me the 15 game squares to Raxor and kill me there, please? Make it look like I died in some heroic blaze of glory, you know?
Yeah. Please, can we go east rather than west into the woods?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. And yeah, at the moment it does sound very familiar, sadly.
Yeah. So, hardcore number 1 gone.
So hardcore number 1 gone, and at the time permanently, because it was before they made it so that hardcores just do
reverted,
the old.
Yeah.
So I went back onto the account that is currently the series is currently following, which I actually had first. So yeah, and I mean, I think when I did that first Iron Man series, it was the first time that I kind of got involved in speaking in people's discords and that kind of thing, and you know, self-promoting on there and talking to other YouTubers, which has kind of become the thing that I really enjoy doing now. Obviously, we did that A to Z challenge together. Like,
oh yeah, we did.
That's the
number 1.
That's kind of the direction I want to take my channel in the future. I really want to get people in. I think it's something that, again, old school YouTubers do brilliantly, and that we kind of have a bit on Twitch. Like, there's a lot of PVM competitions and that kind of thing. And RuneScape run a couple of, they ran that thing when Desperate Measures came out.
Yeah, Race to Ready.
My crew did the QBD race.
Yeah, that was good fun to watch.
But I think we do some of that in RS3. But yeah, I think that's kind of the direction I want to take the channel in the future.
Those challenges and stuff, they're always fun. Like, which old school guys do you watch for that sort of thing? Because I watch like Lincoln Rogs.
Yeah, Lincoln Rogs is very fun. I actually earlier had the 4th video of their 32 hours open, and then someone wanted to talk to me, so I got interrupted. So I need to go back and watch that later. So Lincoln Rog, Soup RS with the Gallinor Games is absolutely superb. Obviously, Tanzim Vitoso was kind of the first lot that I watched do that kind of thing.
I think they were like one of the first kind of sets of people to do it, weren't they?
I've forgotten what the other one was. But yeah, so I think it's something that old school have done really, really well. And I just think, to an extent, it's because we have less. We have a smaller directory.
Yeah.
But in Twitch terms, that we do have less, of these kind of big collaborations between people.
I guess it's hard to have big collaborations when there aren't really big people. Is the thing. Like, you can do like small collaborations, but people, I guess they're not that fussed. They don't know who it is, which is a shame.
Yeah,
but that's how it works.
Yeah, but I think with that kind of thing, because I enjoy playing RuneScape with people, I'm having fun recording it.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
So it came out as quite a good video. So,
oh, I loved doing the A to Z challenge. That was great.
When? Maybe at some point it'll happen.
Yes. Plans are in the work, aren't they?
Let's
just say that.
Yeah, well, that's plans are in the work for something a bit bigger, but yeah, which we won't discuss at the moment.
No. That is secrets under wraps. Need to know basis.
Yep.
Have you ever thought about streaming?
I have done a little bit. So I did a 24-hour stream when lockdown first started for Macmillan Cancer Support, because we were in lockdown, and I was just like, I may as well do something useful with my time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think Twitch is like, as much as it can be more free flowing than YouTube in that you just press live and you're live. More and more people are kind of wanting to see a very specific, a timetable set.
Yeah. It's a schedule. They know when they can tune in and watch some particular person.
And that's something that just the way my life is doesn't work. So
it's pretty similar for me. To be honest, I always try and stream like once and then do an interview in the week. But who knows when that other stream's going to be? It'll be some point during the week, but I couldn't tell you which day.
Yeah. So I think that's why YouTube's kind of been the way I've gone. And again, I mean, there's limitations there. YouTube algorithm loves it when people release 3 or 4 videos a week, and I'm just like, well, absolutely not, YouTube. That's just not going to happen.
Once you, I think, the thing with YouTube is like you have to get, when you like hit a base sort of amount, then it does start to sort of spread it out a little bit more. It's just getting up to that base amount initially.
Quite a lot where they've hit 1,000 and then suddenly they're at a couple of thousand, very, very rapid.
Yeah, as soon as they can make a bit more money and they know you can make some money from it, they're like, yeah, go on then, let's send it out, let's make it worth it for them.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think Twitch is better for that kind of thing. Where,
oh yeah, if you're doing it for the money, then Twitch is probably the way to go.
Yeah, Twitch, you're kind of like, if you're live, you're on the directory and everyone can see it.
Everyone can see. Then you've got, and it's like raids and hosts and that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the closest that you can get to that is in YouTube is, there's a link in the description to this person, but there's nothing to make someone click that. Whereas a raid, you basically get sent over there. So yeah.
I wonder if it would be possible for them to for something to be implemented in YouTube where like the creator can set a video to follow. Like, how autoplay works. Whether they could set it up so you're like, I want this video to play straight after.
I mean, I think it might be possible. I mean, it would upset the YouTube algorithm, and I think realistically, most creators would just put the next episode of their own series on as the following one and just false playlist. But yeah, I mean, as a concept, it would be cool.
Well, maybe there's a limitation. You can't put one of your own videos.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I'm no computer scientist, so I'm not sure how you could successfully implement that. But
I don't know. And then it I guess because then if you said it, it shows that maybe you do know a bit about sort of the audience and this rest of the creative space, I guess, the other creators on the platform.
Yeah. So it's
a tricky one.
Yeah. I think Twitch allows people to act more as a community, more as a directory of all playing the same game than YouTube does. It's definitely.
Yes, YouTube comments. Well, they've been a meme for however many years.
Yeah, well. Since 2006 or whenever.
Whenever YouTube existed.
Yeah.
I miss when it was the star ratings.
Oh yeah.
You could see it on, before you clicked on a video, you could see the stars that the video had.
Yeah, I mean,
rather than just likes and dislikes.
Yeah, well, I think that the likes and dislikes is kind of polarizing in that you can only like or dislike. The stars was, a bit more nuanced.
Yeah. Although everyone has their own star rating is the other thing. It's why stuff like Metacritic has such a varied responses on there. Like you get some reviews that are 4 out of 5, but they've said exactly the same things as a 5 out of 5 one.
Yeah. Brilliant game. 3 out of 5. Yeah. But I think with enough people on YouTube videos, it eventually balances out people who are harsh and people who are generous with their stars, shall we say?
Yes. Have you had many of the comment bots, spam bots that seem to be ever so prevalent on YouTube? Oh, they were when I started doing videos. I've not noticed them so much now.
Yeah, I mean, I have my comments set to auto-filter anything if it could be a bot.
Yeah, yeah. I
So,
think I've got the same.
so like it it happens sometimes, but really not that often. And I think that's partly just because they'll naturally target people with X thousand subs. So
Yeah, I had one that it had
I had one last video as well, but
no, I know. So I had one that the video was 8 minutes long, and it had like a timestamp 13:10. Wow, I can't imagine this happened. And I'm like,
no.
it's outside of the video. How is this? Why is it generated like that? But
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I mean, if anything can tell you how stupid bots can be, I think YouTube and RuneScape can tell you exactly how stupid bots can be. My goodness me. So some of the bots that existed in early RuneScape are brilliant. If you ever look at the history of botting,
Yeah, there's some good ones.
There's classics in there. I think I'll tell you the story of my personal favorite. It was during Classic, so very early, 2003, I think. 2003, yeah, because RuneScape 2 was 2004. So it was 2003, and any time a mod, so anybody with a mod star, well, mod crown, turned up, they would all say, "Hi, Mod Mark," then something else, and then got to go. This is the original got to go. Mom's calling for dinner. That's where it comes from. It comes from this bot, and
amazing.
and there are great screenshots of there being like a mod, not even Mod Mark, a different mod, standing somewhere and seeing like 10 bots all saying the exact same thing at the exact same time and all logging out
and just disappearing.
Just like, yeah.
I suppose as you've been in the wilderness, you must have been doing some divination training. Have you come across any of our favourite cursed energy bots yet? Or
yes, yeah, definitely. They're very convenient for making sure I get sculled anytime I need to go to the bandit camp. But it has actually been noticeable since Jagex launched the thing against the two major bot companies. That they're significantly less.
Good. It seems like it. Oh my Christ!
5.6 bill.
It must have done.
Oh, I saw it in my chat earlier. I was going to mention it. I'm going to interrupt.
Well, hello, Mr. 5.6. How are you? Master of all as well, I assume. Hello, Wazzy. And everybody from Wazzy's channel. How are you doing? Lots of zero. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
How many more pouches did you have to make for your summoning pet, Waz?
15 minutes. Nice.
Oh, nice.
Because you said you had got a few thousand at least. You said you'd done like 10k before and just got nothing at 200 mil. Oh.
Fair enough. Yeah. I really could have imagined that you've just like run out of charms and just be like, great.
I don't know, the amount of bossing that guy has done on his way, and I don't even want to know how many charms you've got. Well, I've pretty much come to like the end of sort of the questions that I had to ask. So everybody in chat has turned up at a pretty decent time. So, well, yeah, if anybody is here, I don't know if anyone is here or if they're watching adverts, because you know how Twitch is nowadays.
Yeah, true.
It's so silly. But if anyone is here, are there any questions that you would like to ask Mr. JC? It does seem to be just Wazzy, which is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Hello, Dark Soul. Look at that. She's talking to you now.
There must be some real idiots.
I suppose I should ask the classic. What's your favourite curry?
I love myself a lambooner.
Okay. an actual answer. Normally, like people in America don't have curry.
They're a bit ridiculous then, really, aren't they? Let's be honest.
I know. They don't know what flapjacks are. It's...
I mean, we don't really have those very often on this side of the Severn, to be honest. But yeah, I have actually been to England before, and people have looked at me weird for having lamb in a curry, and I'm just like, I'm Welsh, come at me.
That's fine. Lamb's fairly
Brilliant.
fairly common. Yeah. Well, my favourite curry is just a bit of everything. All the meat's in there, and then you never know what the next bite's going to hold.
Yeah, I've never really had one of them.
I'm assuming that's I'm easy. Asking if you can make a divination guide.
Do caches until level 70, and then do Hall of Memories. Use the core hunting chat. That's the guide.
There you go. Double XP's coming up, so there'll be calls all the time.
Be the core hunting guide then. Yeah, definitely.
Easy. Look at that. 30 seconds. Why don't you make that a video?
I definitely get no ads on that.
Yeah.
No, guides have never really been my thing, just generally, because I think there's enough people who make very, very good guides, so I don't really want to be in the same space.
You're the person they named RS3 after. Wow.
I mean, this account is older than RS3, so...
Yeah, maybe. Where does the username come from, actually? I completely skipped over that.
You had to ask this question after we've been raided by a bunch of people. Like, what is the most embarrassing name that you've had? So JC RS3 is obviously just from the game. JC is a contraction of my original username. Oh, pylons have gone up. I should head to carry that after. Anyway, so JC comes from the shortening of my original name, which was, I think, so I wanted like Jackie Chan and then some number because I was obsessed when I was 11 or whatever.
Is that with the animated series as well?
I have no idea, to be honest.
No?
No, it's just he was like the person I considered to be everyone else says Chuck Norris. I'm just like, no, Jackie Chan is clearly the way. And yeah, so I wanted that, and then I actually changed it to Jackie Chin for no reason whatsoever. And my original count was 5, and then that one got hacked, as I kind of referenced in the start of my Expansionist. So the second one was then 7. I have no idea why I skipped 6. I'll be entirely honest. I think it's just because I liked odd numbers, I suppose. And then I was just like, okay, this name is actually ridiculous. Not to mention we live in 2020 where changing the name of someone could be considered as offensive. So I just contracted it to JC, and all my accounts have JC and then whatever they are. So the main has become JC7. The Iron is JC Palm Top. Expansionist is JC Expansion, and I've got loads of other ones that people haven't seen, and they probably won't see for a little bit.
Palm Top.
Palm Top is a reference to the anime Toradora. Probably should have sent that one out to the chat, see if anyone got that reference first. But there's a character who is called the Palm Top Tiger in that, so that's where Palm Top came from.
Dora the Explorer.
If only they had made that joke in the show.
All right, sweet. Well, I think we will we'll start to wrap it up there. So if anyone in chat has got any last minute questions they'd like to ask, obviously either of us, mostly JC, because he's... Well, I'll be here every interview. He's going to be here once.
Yeah.
I suppose we'll move on from like favorite anime. I can't say I
Oh,
watch a huge amount, but it's
um,
a good question, I think.
so hold on. Let me take a look at my collection. What do I have? Um, I mean, Toradora is pretty good, but I don't think it's my favorite. I think my favorite is something called Skigakure, which is probably, like most of my answers this interview, is going to be way out of left field that no one's actually given that answer before. Um, to what's your
Well,
favorite?
I've never asked a question before, so
Yeah, but I mean, like most people, if anybody has ever watched that anime in the chat, I'll honestly be quite surprised, because it's very out there.
what is the premise of behind it then? What kind of anime? Because obviously there is so many like types of anime.
Yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of uh, the kind of classic shonen, battle shonen stuff, like everything that people kind of automatically consider. Like we've already had JoJo's mentioned in the chat. I'm not a massive fan. I'm sorry, JoJo's is good, but I'm not a fan of JoJo's. So that's not really my thing. Um, but Skigakure is a romance anime, which I just really, really enjoyed. It just hit really close to home and was really realistic, so I really liked it.
What do you mean? I love defeating all enemies, regardless of their powers, by believing in my friends.
Fairy Tale. That's Fairy Tale. That's the other one. I mean, to be fair, it happens in JoJo quite a lot, but no, it's Fairy Tale is that anime.
What about a favorite Studio Ghibli film?
I mean, do I be horrible and say yeah? No, I'm gonna do it. Graveyard of the Fireflies is such a good film. Like it's one of the saddest films going, like pretty much ever made. It's literally about people starving to death with the end of World War II in Japan.
Yep.
But it's such a good film. Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet. I knew like roughly sort of the plot, but I've seen Wind Rises as well.
Yeah, yeah,
I
good film.
really enjoy that one. Don't
Yeah,
know what about it, but
yeah. I mean, Studio Ghibli is not my favorite for making films. To be honest, they're
Mhm.
very consistent and they make a lot of good films. But I love anything by Makoto Shinkai, which is just his art style is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, that's gonna be the start of my my anime channel, which is gonna come soon now apparently.
I mean, you said you had a collection. Is the collection of figurines or
No, so I've got some manga on the
okay?
shelves. I've got a couple of Blu-rays and DVDs. I only have one figurine, but that's just a pop vinyl of L from Death Note.
Have you ever been to Japan? Is that like a dream destination for you?
I mean, I do want to go there, but I've wanted to go there before
Yeah.
liking anime anyway. So yeah, I would love to go there, and I would end up spending far too much money. So
You take an empty suitcase and
yeah, I'd have to take an extra suitcase. Like, so what I would do is I would have my suitcase with all my stuff in it, and I'd put that suitcase in a slightly larger suitcase that will end up having all my stuff. Um,
no,
so
you don't need to take any stuff. Just take a backpack with, a couple of changes of clothes, sorted.
yeah,
Go to the laundromat, sit there.
yeah,
Sit in
no,
your undies in the laundromat.
yeah. I would spend so much money; it would be awful for me.
Alright, sweet. Well, I feel like we're gonna wrap it up there because
Yeah,
no one else has come up with any questions in chat, and it does feel like the raid kind of. I'm not sure quite what happened because normally like it happens and sort of people say hello, but nothing happened, so it was kind of a.
they saw my face and were just like, "Oh my days, who's this guy?"
It was
Get me out.
a very strange one. But anyway, before we go, are there any shout outs that you would like to GC to anybody? I didn't call you J3 then. That was
G3. Oh.
yeah.
Okay, new account name sorted. No, so I think people who have helped me massively. Brilly Mister, I think, has been absolutely great to me in the past. I'm part of his Iron Man clan, so the casual I am for anybody who wants an Iron Man clan. And then I think, sadly, he doesn't really make videos anymore. Diggy Mole was great. He shared a lot of my early stuff and really got me going. So yeah, he's definitely someone who's been really important to me.
I can't remember. Was he taking a break? I know there was someone.
Yeah, so he said he was gonna take a break, and I mean he's been more on old school kind of since he's taken the break. So yeah, I think if he comes back, it'll probably be old school videos, which I'll absolutely still watch. But
Okay. All right. Well, thank you once again, my man, for spending your evening with me, and thanks for
very much.
inviting me onto that A to Z challenge a few weeks ago. If anyone hasn't watched it, go check it out on JC's YouTube channel. Basically, me, JC, Kafar, and Will Miss It had to find an item beginning with every letter of the alphabet, apart from X, in Gillinor, as quick as possible. And there is a little twist as well, but you have to watch the video to find that.
Yeah, X was just not going to happen. There's only 2 items.
2 items with X, yeah.
2 items, and neither of them can be. I reckon if either of us had got it, it would have like doubled our times.
Just completely unfeasible at that point.
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you once again, and I hope everyone's enjoyed watching. And until next time, guys, stay safe.
See you.